as we observe the passage of a very serious piece of legislation, we must do so with an eye to the future. We're faced with a situation that had terrible ramifications for everyone on Main Street, but all the attention was on Wall Street. We want to turn that attention, and that was our intent in the legislation. Under the leadership of our chairman, Barney Frank, as I called him on the floor, and Maestro, we were able to make improvements, working in a bipartisan way, to make improvements in the legislation and then make more improvements to the legislation before it came back to the floor today. But our eye now is to the future, to shine the bright light of accountability on what is happening in our financial markets so that it doesn't happen again. That accountability will tell us how we got to this place and ferret out the abuses. That accountability will honor our trust to the American people. Mr. Frank will be holding hearings on where we go from here, because we are about the future. Mr. Waxman will be his hearings will be instructive as to how we got here so that we know how to avoid this in the future. It will be about accountability. It'll be about regulatory reform, which is essential. And it'll be about building an economy with a focus on the middle class, where many more Americans will participate in the economic security of Americans, of our country. And that where high flyers on Wall Street will no longer be able to jeopardize that personal economic security of Americans, again, because of the bright light of scrutiny, accountability, and the attention given under regulatory reform. We are all believers in the free market. It's part of our democracy. We know that the free markets create jobs, create capital, create wealth. That's very important. But recently, left unregulated and undisciplined and unsupervised, they created chaos. That was then, this is now. We're about the future, and that is where the direction we want to take our policy. We want to take our country in a new direction for the middle class. I want to now yield to our, so many of part of our leadership were part of this success of this legislation today. And I don't say that we celebrate it, because I don't frankly think that we could have had a much better bill under different circumstances. But these were not the circumstances we were under. We were dealt a bad hand. We made the most of it. I think the American people will benefit from it. As so many people, and we decided in the course of this week that we needed to bring the bill up, that it was urgent that it pass, and that we had to depend on ourselves to get it passed. Fortunately, we had a strong bipartisan vote, but we knew we'd be strong enough to pass a bill today because of the work of Steny Hoyer and Jim Clyburn and Rahm Emanuel and our other members of the leadership.